Queer Chat, it's Keenan. So this week we're talking about fictional characters that we relate to. So first of all, I guess this is the book, The True Confessions of Charlotte Doyle. And I read this when I was in 5th grade. Actually, our teacher read it to us at like the end of the day. We'd have some story time. And so she read this to us and had to do with what we were learning about. And so I really liked the book, so I ended up getting a copy. And it's basically about this proper English girl whose family moves to America, but she goes to a British prep school, and then she's sailing to America and on the ship, and well, eventually she ends up becoming one of the sailors. And I really liked it because it had to do with a girl who was like very, very feminine, very proper, who, due to certain circumstances, ended up becoming one of the sailors and one of the men. And at the end of the book, spoiler alert, she ends up going with her family, and then hating this kind of proper life, and she ends up running away back to the ship, and she becomes a sailor. And so, yeah, I really liked her, because in 5th grade, it was kind of when I started kind of questioning a lot of stuff, and so I really liked kind of this, like, gender-bending kind of book. And it's a mystery, yeah. So it's not like an advanced book, like intellectual or anything, but it's a good read. Another book that I remember from kind of, I think it was during the same year, 5th grade. It's called Surviving the Applewhites. And I kind of identified with this guy here, Jake. Here. And that's because he was kind of, he was this like punk, delinquent kid who ends up turning out, through this entire book, he ends up kind of finding his true self, and that he's actually not a delinquent after all. Like, he doesn't really identify that way anymore, and he kind of has this whole, like, big turnaround, and he ends up becoming this actor with this, like, amazing voice and stuff. And so I always thought he was cool. I liked how he dressed, like, he always wore all black and stuff. And I liked all his piercings, and I really like his hair. So, yeah, it's kind of the same reason why I like Charlotte Doyle is, like, kind of 5th grade, kind of figuring out different people's identities, and they're both really cool characters and stuff. So those are kind of two of the books. Two fictional characters. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I've always liked Snape. I don't know if I would say I identified with him or whatever, but Snape's cool. I don't know, I guess being kind of mysterious and kind of an outsider, but nobody knew why, I guess, if I'm trying to make a connection. But Snape's cool. Other fictional characters. I don't read, like, a lot of fiction, I think, comes from reading. I don't really read that much anymore because I'm so busy with everything else I do. I used to read a ton, though, in elementary school. Like, fictional characters from plays. I remember seeing West Side Story, and the character Anybody's was really cool. Anybody's is a tomboy who wants to be part of the Jets, but the Jets won't let anybody into their into their gang, but eventually they do. So I really like that character. Other characters that I like, I don't know. There's a lot of just like random characters in books that I like. I can't really think of any off the top of my head though. I used to at least read a lot of historical fiction. So I kind of identified with a lot of like circumstances, I guess. Like, I've always been really into, like, medieval times and knights and pirates, and interested in, what else? Like, the American Revolution, and, so basically, I'm a big fan of anything having to do with, like, England or Ireland, between, like, year, I don't know, like, 1000 to, about, like, 1800. I like the colonial period. Yeah, so kind of like that's a big gap, but that covers like and some of the 1800s too. I don't know. I think that a lot of the colonial and kind of like 1800s, 1700s, a lot of it's kind of, I mean, there's a lot of evolution and changes going on. At least in America, but not so much in England, per se. Besides, losing the colonies and everything, but a lot of the dress was the same. A lot of the properness and everything. I'd say the politics. Yeah, but so like medieval times. Oh, except I'm not a huge fan of learning about the Renaissance. Except, well, like the Renaissance when you talk about England, or I'm sorry, Italy. But I do like England during that time. So a lot of just English and Irish history. So I don't know, kind of really like those situations and always found them interesting. Trying to think of any like movies or anything. I don't know. I can't really think of any other like fictional characters or anything. I identified with. Yeah, I guess just. Yeah. I guess that's all. I can't remember now. It would have been interesting if I had made this video like maybe 5 years ago. When I was 11 and I was, reading a ton, like, had to be dragged away from books. But I read a lot of nonfiction as well, so, yeah. Okay. See you later. Bye.